The Cold War emerged on the stage of history with the proclamation of the Truman Doctrine in 1947 and concluded with the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991. After World War II, two superpowers arose, the United States and the Soviet Union, each striving to assert dominance over the world. On one hand, the U.S. championed capitalism, while on the other, the Soviets sought to spread communism. This political and military tension between the two poles is etched into world history as the Cold War, the beginning of a new order, 1947. The first spark of the war was ignited with the Truman Doctrine, where the U.S. announced support for countries resisting Soviet influence. During this period, both countries set into motion their efforts to propagate their own ideologies across the globe. The Korean War and a divided world, 1950-1953. In 1950, North Korea's attack on South Korea, backed by the Soviets, was one of the rare instances when the Cold War turned into a hot conflict. United Nations forces led by the U.S. defended South Korea, resulting in the Korean peninsula being divided along the 38th parallel, deepening conflicts, crises, and doctrines. By 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis became a worrying turning point for the world. The Soviets' deployment of nuclear missiles in Cuba threatened world peace, but they eventually stepped back. During this period, the Vietnam War became the most prominent example of proxy wars between the two superpowers. Détente, years of reduced tensions. The 1970s marked a period where both sides made efforts to ease tensions. Agreements like SALT I and SALT II were steps taken in this direction. However, the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 escalated tensions and reignited conflict. Subsequently, the U.S. influenced the course of the war by supporting the Afghan resistance. On the brink of change, 1980s, 1990. The Ronald Reagan era put the Soviets in a challenging race with the Strategic Defense Initiative. Mikhail Gorbachev's reforms, glasnost and perestroika, brought new hopes for peace. The final act of the Cold War, 1991. The dissolution of the Soviet Union and the democratization movements in Eastern Bloc countries brought the Cold War to an end.